We've had a lot of success over the years in the Internet of Things area of our business. We are the leader in the U.S. and some would say globally regarding Internet of Things technology solution provider for telecommunications, and a natural progression of that is to move into vertical areas that use underlying Internet of Things technologies and communication solutions like smart cities. So we have recently formed a dedicated organization under me that sits within our Internet of Things business unit to go out and really focus on helping cities develop out a framework and solutions that are driving Internet of Things and smart cities related applications that can help them solve problems both for the city and for the citizens. So we've got a really strong group of ecosystem partners that we've brought together. And as you may know, smart cities and Internet of Things, there's a lot of partners that need to come together to really create successful solutions. AT&T is one of them, and we feel like we have the ability to lead large alliances and partner ecosystems to drive really positive results for cities, because we've got long-standing relationships with some of these cities, 50, 60, 70 years, where they've really been depending on us to be one of their technology providers of choice. And then we also have very deep relationships with many of the citizens or the city's customers that actually reside in those areas. So we feel like it's a great time for us to step up and lead and do some great things with some really large partners and some small partners as well to help drive a lot of value for cities and for its constituents. The definition of smart cities is really broad, and it just at a high level, if you want to define what it is, it's really it's using sensors, digital technology, and then a communications platform to connect people, processes, and assets, to drive efficiencies, to drive sustainability, to reduce operational cost, and then develop a better living experience for its citizens. And that's one of the things that you hit on as a use case. That's an example of a company that can provide a solution to a city to drive a better living experience for its citizens. So if you think about some other use case examples inside of solution domains that cities will look at, I think you'll have, if you think about utilities as a solution domain, you'll have smart lighting. We'll also have smart water or leak detection systems and opportunities that help to determine leaks prior to burst. So that will help reduce non-revenue water loss. You'll have, smart grid and electric, and that's something that we've already done. AT&T has had a smart grid team that's actually been moved under me. So we've been in the smart city space for some time with specific use case solutions like smart grid. And then, if you move from utilities and you slide over to ways to leverage technology and communications platforms to drive efficiencies around transportation, and that would be everything from traffic management to parking, and then you can slide into those more citizen engagement type or citizen-friendly use cases like air quality sensors that you mentioned that could be installed at the time of doing a retrofit for LED lighting or a smart lighting solution. So there's ways to maximize efficiencies through a building block approach to implementation as well, where when you go and do one touch to install intelligent lighting, you also install sensors that can provide air quality information, cameras that can provide security information, other sensors like gunshot audio detection that could provide information around a gunshot and triangulation to send an alert to the police department to roll a unit. And then also traffic sensors when you do that install. So what we're trying to really do is take some very specific solutions that solve problems, like I mentioned, and then create a framework of partners that have different components of these solutions. And then lead the group by going out to some spotlight cities to start to be able to implement these solutions and then drive some key learnings not only for the organizations that are participating in this alliance, let's call it, but also for the cities, so that they can go back to their citizens and say, hey, this does work. This is where how it will provide a positive impact to you and to your family and to the city overall. So that's really part of the goal as we get specific into the use cases and start to deploy them into the market, for testing and to develop some key learnings. Technology is an enabler, as we all know, and can sometimes be a crutch. But I think there's a very strategic approach that's going to need to be taken, and a lot of support, from the government and from the cities themselves to help drive the adoption, so you can realize these benefits. Densification and urbanization, more people moving into these urban areas from the suburbs, it's going to happen over time. All the data points to that, and so we need to, as a global community, start to embrace that, and political leadership needs to get behind that as well, because one of the questions out there is still, how do you pay for all this, right? How do you pay for the technology to enable these solutions to drive the benefits when this densification occurs? And I think the EU has done a good job starting to fund some initiatives over there. I think you saw last week in DC where the government, the United States government, made some announcements at the White House, which we were fortunate enough to be there for those. As a lead member of NIST and of some of the other standards groups and organizations that have been stood up. I think that $160 million will help to fund and seed some of the growth, so that the technology providers can test and then start to quantify, what the actual benefits are going to be, so that we can then get those projects funded. But it's going to happen. It's just going to take time. I mean, we're at the beginning of a journey, okay? And I think that is something that everybody needs to keep in mind. Many of the cities have started already, large and small. The research universities are leading this in some cases, which are great. But we truly are at the beginning of a journey that's going to take a unique framework and a building block approach to really roll things out and get them to scale. And that's where we feel like we can take a leadership position based on the experience that we have starting and leading industries through technology progressions. And I think that that a unique differentiator, when people look at AT&T, they look at us as their cell phone service provider, or their landline, or UVerse, right? They don't really understand everything that we do as a company, and then the adjacencies that we have in our business, where we put a lot of focus and invest a ton of money. Frankly, we're doing a lot of that investment around security. We feel, and we know, based on testing and our position in the market, that we have the most secure, scalable network that's out there today. And our focus is about security. And there's different layers of security when you think about of IoT, right? You've got the device layer security. You've got the network layer, which is where we're sitting. So we're securing the data from the sensor, back to the cloud, and in some cases even using some of our cloud solutions that we have to secure data until it's passed on to whatever visualization tool that's being used to make sense of that data. So we have a lot of focus around security and threat analysis, and that's really an area where AT&T steps up, I think, and one of the reasons that we're very well positioned to actually lead some of this thought leadership and some of this market scale, because we've got that critical network component that is the thread that's actually weaved through each and every single smart city solution, and we make sure that that layer is extremely, extremely secure.